Hi everyone, this is all your friend Sanskar Singh, and I would like to request you to imagine for a moment. Imagine waking up in the morning and realizing the smartest entity on planet Earth is not a human, not in Silicon Valley, not in top universities, and not in the New York City, but inside a machine. We are obsessed with AI tools. We are obsessed with AI jobs. And we are obsessed with learning the next prompt trick. But almost nobody is asking a higher question, a bigger question. What happens when intelligence itself stop being human? Today, I want to talk about artificial super intelligence, ASI, and why the real danger is not the AI. It's whether we are mature enough to handle the power that we are building. All right, so let's take an example. Imagine humanity. Humanity discovering the fire for the very first time in the cave. At the first, it's just a spark. People gather around it, curious, but cautious. And then they realize it can cook food, provide warmth, and protect from the darkness. Fire also destroys forest. It destroys home. It spread faster than people could ever expect. But it doesn't mean humanity doesn't stop using fire. We build rules using fire. We invent firefighting. The power of fire never determined the future, but our maturity in handling it did. Artificial superintelligence, ASI, is like discovering the fire once again. But except this time, the fire can think, can adopt, and can evolve, right? And the real question is not whether the fire exists or not. The real question is if we whether we learn fast enough to guide it. So here's the shift between tools, AI agents, and the super intelligence. And right now, AI feels like a tool. It can draft you an email, right, for your client, writing code, and do a lot of stuffs and a lot of things. Helpful, but it's still a tool. And then there's an AGI, artificial general intelligence system that can perform most cognitive tasks a human could ever can. And beyond all that, there's an ASI, artificial super intelligence, intelligent that surpasses all of us combined. An ASI is not just an assistant. It's something that can do almost absolutely everything on psychological and physical level. Almost, most of the time. And we are moving from software, we are moving from a software that support decision making to the systems that make their own decisions. You getting what I'm saying? Yeah. So when the entire decision making gets automated, automated one by one automatically, entire industry you know don't just improve, they reorganize. And here's an example for that. Just imagine of a calculator and to autopilot. Think about aviation. You know what I mean by aviation? A decades ago, pilots did everything manually. Every calculation, every adjustment, every decision, every mathematics, and every physics manually. And then there's calculators and computers arrived. They help pilot to process the information faster. But the pilot is still control the aircraft. Then there's a concept named as autopilot. Now the system doesn't just assist, it flies most of the journey automatically. And the pilot's role changed from being an operator of a plane, to a supervisor. And from doing every action, overseeing a complex system, AI is following the same path. And right now, it's like a calculator. Helpful, but it still depends on us. And then there's an AGI. AGI is like advanced flight system with calculators and with computers. And then there's an ASI, artificial super intelligence, is full autopilot across the entire journey of decision making. And when that happens, the job is not the flying plane anymore. Yeah, it's making sure the destination is correct. And here's why: the destination won't be the linear, linear, and then there is compounding. Yeah. Most people imagine this transition happening slowly. But AI is different from every other technology because intelligence can improve intelligence. When I say intelligence, I mean to say artificial intelligence. And AI improves AI. And once a system redesign themselves, every upgrade accelerate the next one. And it become recursive. It become compounding, like a skyrocket, not linear, a skyrocket. And it feels sudden, just very quick. And which is why the real risk is not will this happen, but the real question is will we notice early enough to adopt the change, right? And here's an example for that. The particular effect is often known as the snowball effect. Imagine standing on the top of the snowy mountain and you have a snowball in your hand, and what you are doing is you are just taking that particular snowball onto the mountain like this, and you dropped it. At first it rolls very slowly, almost very boring to watch. Nobody would like to watch a snowy ball going below the mountain. And as it moves, it gathers more snow, and it gets heavier, and it's rolling way faster, right? And soon enough it becomes something you can't stop even if you try. Exponential change always looks insanely small at the beginning, and that is why people underestimate it. And AI progress works the same way. Each improvements add momentum to the next one, and each breakthrough makes future breakthrough much easier. And by the time the speed become obvious and the system is already massive, you know, the surprise is not that it will either grow or not, but the surprise is how suddenly it will feel unstoppable, like we are unable to stop it, right? And that's where founder understand a concept named as leverage, a leverage race. And here's how I like to think about it. AI is not just about automation, just automating stuff. AI is all about leverage, a leverage race. And the first teams, the first group of people that deeply integrate advanced intelligence. You know what I'm saying? Intelligence, I mean to say artificial intelligence. They won't just work faster. They will think faster because they haven't super intelligence. They will ship their product faster. They will test their product faster, decide faster, fail faster, and eventually succeed faster. And in the startups, speed is a survival. So this is not just a technological race, it's a leverage race. And the company that treat AI like a feature will fall behind. And the ones that redesign the entire workflow around it will look like a superhuman. And that's where, there's a concept named as humanoids, where intelligence gets a physical body. When intelligence gets a physical body, that's what we call, humanoids. Humanoids, a mechanical body with artificial intelligence. Now imagine artificial intelligence living the cloud technology. All of our data is stored in a cloud technology, a cloud computing. Now imagine for a moment AI is living cloud and getting a physical body with metal, right? And that's what we call humanoid robotics. And when intelligence meets physical capability and body, AI will not just optimize spreadsheets, editing videos, or pictures. It will move through the world from manufacturing, logistic, healthcare, and education, and elder care, so on and so forth. And a system that can see, reason, and act almost 24 into 7, 24 hours a day and 7 days a week, with no fatigue and no restraining cycle, just continuous learning, right? Without procrastinating. And that's not just a digital transformation, that's the entire, physical transformation, And once intelligence can both think and act autonomously, labor itself get redefined, not replaced. Labor will get redefined. And here's where the scarcity flip happens. Here's the paradox. Here is the paradox. When artificial intelligence becomes common, it will stop being valuable among humans, right? Almost invaluable because everyone will have them. And just like computing power, just like internet access, you know, no company wins today because they have computers. Everyone has them. Everyone has computer. Everyone has internet connection in your mobile phone. And the same will happen with AI. Almost everyone will have intelligence. So the question over here is, so what is going to become scark? You know? And the thing is, judgment, taste, vision, direction, and leadership will be the most in demand skill in the future. And super intelligence can optimize absolutely anything, but it cannot decide what is worth optimizing for. And that's still human. And that's still leadership. And in a world flooded with a lot of answer, asking the right questions become the competitive advantage. And here's the opportunity. I do not look at, artificial super intelligence as a threat. I see it as a design challenge. How do we create super intelligence that scale very safely? How do we create super intelligence to help humans, instead of a replace purpose, replacing up humans? Because the future won't belong to the people who compete with AI, but the people will belong to those who adopt AI. People who understand the systems, people who don't just use tools but redesign their entire environment in the basis of artificial super intelligence. And here's an example for that. The picture you're looking at now behind, that's what we call orchestra. This particular group named as orchestra with a conductor. Where just imagine once again the world's best musician gathering on that one stage. Each one is incredibly talented, but without coordination of that particular coordinator, without coordination, the result is not the music. The result is the noise pollution, right? And the conductor itself doesn't play every instrument. They create alignment. They control timing. They give the direction, and they give direction to the music. And ASI, artificial super intelligence, will be like having the world's most powerful orchestra ever assembled. But the power alone doesn't create harmony, but our leadership does. And the future belongs to those who can, orchestrate the intelligence towards a meaningful outcome. And that is why we are going to succeed. And let's imagine for one last moment. Uh, you know, uh, you wake up in the morning and realizing the smartest entity on planet Earth, is not the human. And that moment might come or not, but whether it destabilizes us or empower us to achieve more heights, it's completely depend on how intentionally we are building it. I would like to, request you to imagine for the last moment. Just think about the sailing. This particular thing is not the boat. It's not a ship. It's a sailing. It's a sailing thing, right? The wind is very powerful. It cannot be controlled. No, because we are not God. You can't argue with it because it is not a human. You can't stop it. But a skilled sailor, someone who know how to use sailing, will not try to fight the wind. He will adjust their own sails. He understands the direction of the wind. He understands the timing of the wind and his sailing. And he understands balance. And artificial intelligence is like a new kind of wind entering into the human history. And the leaders of the future won't be the ones trying to resist it. They will be the one who know how to handle it. Because the power of the wind doesn't determine the journey, but the skills of the sailor does. And intelligence may stop being exclusively human, but responsibility won't. The next generation of leaders won't be the ones who know the most, who are genius, who know the most, who are like a dictionary. But future is belong to those people who know where to aim, intelligence we are creating, just aim at the right place. And that's all from me today, guys.